Alright guys, today I want to show you a game between Fabiano Caruana and Maxim Graf of Tata Steel 2021. So Fabi is one of the leaders with 4.5 points, and so he's on +2, and on the opposite, MVL is surprisingly in bad shape in this tournament, so he's in -2 with 2.5 points on 13th place or something. So let's see the game. E4, MVL is playing black, so as you know he plays all the time c5, knight d3, d6, d4, open Sicilian, knight f6, he opts for Najdrorf, of course, knight c3, and a6. So this indicates that it's going to be Najdrorf, and of course everyone knows that he plays this only this opening basically with black. So Caruana plays bishop g5. Caruana uses this move a lot. He won a convincing game against Hikaru, and it was home preparation game totally for 20-25 moves. He had perfect preparation and won. And this position occurred in previous days of this tournament. Nils Grandelius won against Sicilian Najdrorf, so this is like a mind game between these players. e6, f4, and queen to b6. So this is a poison pawn variation, very well known in chess history. It was played first by Fischer against Pasky, and the first game was a draw. But it considers to be extremely risky, and MVL takes lots of risks. He plays very principled chess. Alright, so Fabi plays queen d2, and he takes the pawn on b2. So black is pawn up. Rook b1, queen a3, and this position occurred in Grandelius against MVL. So Grandelius continued with f5, bishop e7, takes, so knight takes, and bishop to c4. So pretty dangerous position for black, yeah, because this extremely strong bishop and pawn is attacked, so I would definitely play with white here, but you know, this is playable. Alright, so possibly that MVL prepared something for this f5 move, but Fabi played the like new move first. He played bishop e2, very modest looking move, preparing castles. Knight to c6. So this is novelty by MVL. So he develops the knight to this c6 square, preparing immediately to exchange it. So it's more standard in the correspondence chess to play bishop to d7. This is more safe way to continue. So these knights, I'm sorry, they protect each other. Yeah, if white takes at some point, knight will recapture, and black's position is more compact. If we see that knight goes to c6, then it's less secure, more loose position for black. And when you defend, and black is down in development, so they want, you know, to have a more solid position. So normally they will continue castles, queen c5, returning the queen, knight, king to h1, unpinning the knight, bishop e7, f5, e5, and knight a6. So very aggressive move, of course, sacrificing whole piece. Bishop, knight to b6, takes, So this is like a madness position, and but black is piece up, so they can give material back at some point. So, or you can play also bishop to e7. This is more standard, preparing castling, and white immediately breaks in the center. Knight to d7, yeah, and if let's say white takes e7, then queen will return back. So this is white is a little bit better here, but it's crazy variations and it's all calculation. So in this position, Fabi decided to capture. So this is what MVL played, and this is what Caruana did. He took the knight, takes, and e5. So he doesn't want to lose tempi on this extremely active position. He's pawn down, so he has to open up the game. Knight to d5, knight takes, and pawn takes. And it's crazy, but in this position, it's the pawn e takes d5 is a critical mistake, losing mistake for MVL. So the correct move was it takes. And Fabi will play castles, and so if you notice, if you play bishop to e7, developing, then takes, and the knight is the king stays in the center. Yeah, so you can develop, and your king is in the center. So these rook lifts are very dangerous, and f5 also is an option. So definitely also very the engine shows that it's equal, yeah, but you have a losing mistake on every move. So he took with the pawn, and Fabi played e6. So very strong move, of course. Not sure that I would consider it really, yeah, because you just moving your pawn under two attacks by bishop and by pawn, but he was very aware of this pawn sacrifice, and so if you look at this, let's say bishop takes e6, then white plays castles, bishop e7, and so again he has f5, he has bishop takes e7, just black cannot finish the development, and with this f5 and moving the bishop to h5, they will give very strong check, and not sure how black will defend against it. So he can possibly take this pawn. So what he did, he played f6. This is, as we say in chess, practical move. Yeah. So he wants, to not to lose the game immediately, but to give his opponent some time to think, yeah, to continue the game and not to open up the game immediately. Yeah, so try to keep the position closed. So f6, Fabi plays bishop h5 check. His knight is attacked, bishop is attacked, but he wants to continue harassing black. Now g6 is not possible, because he will play bishop takes f6 and attack the rook, and so he won't be able to castle kingside. So he moved back the bishop, d4. d4 prepares exchange of queens. Yeah, if let's say he takes this pawn, then he can give check and return the queen to c7 and like help defend the king's position. So d4, and Fabi played bishop to f2. and queen c3, so preparing the queen's exchange. Actually, this is the first line, so MVL defends very well. He wants to get rid of this queens, and then his king will be safer, and still he has this extra pawn. f5. This is the idea of white, actually, to if you don't take this pawn and white can defend it with f5 and also with later with g4 h3, as we see in the game, then this pawn, it takes all the space from black, and you cannot just play without this bishop. It doesn't have anywhere to go. If you go bishop to e7, then your king has to move somewhere. Very difficult position. So f5, queen takes, king takes, and c5. The pawn was hanging. If, for instance, here he has this, of course, the idea of g6. He wants, to exchange these pawns and then win the pawn back. Then black is okay. But in this position, he can take a Zwischenzug move. So if MVL takes, then this is winning check and winning the knight, the rook. So he doesn't have time for it. After c5, Fabi plays bishop to f3. This bishop is insanely strong. It attacks the rook. It can go to this excellent square on d5, and it controls the b7 square. So this bishop again is totally busted. So rook to a7, g4, preparing for g6, h5, which is black's main idea. In this position, engine recommends to play king to c7, so to take control of the b6 square. Yeah, but MVL doesn't want to defend passively. He wants to open up the game as soon as it's possible. Yeah, to play principal chess. Very difficult to play this when you have your main idea g6. So that's what he played. Bishop to h4 again. When it's played here, then this pawn on f6 is on pre. So he defended it again. A terrible bishop. And rook to b7. This is a backward decision of g6, early g6, because now white rook infiltrates and starts harass of this queen side. h5, h3, everything is protected. You can't unpin yourself from the c6. King to e8. The problem with black, even though they are like material up, their pieces are not coordinated. They cannot develop their pieces. They cannot, when they move one piece and they don't have space for another piece. Now he wants to play something like bishop to d8, attacking the rook, but now it's totally not the best square for the bishop. Bishop to g3, attacking the pawn on d6. Rook to c7, and he moves the king up, preparing. If he plays MVL plays c4, then he will capture the pawn on d4. So nice move. Takes, takes. All exchanges are made, but black cannot move. Bishop to f8. King goes up. Rook h7. Rook e4. So basically this is +4. Even though the white is pawn down, they're +4, so like a piece up. Back takes, bishop b7, takes, and so it appears that black's king is on e8. It can't move. It cannot attack the black pieces. White is like king up. So bishop b2, takes, and in this position MVL resigned, yeah, because he's down to pawns, and with this king he will easily promote to winning the game. All right, thank you very much.